I hate Eggman.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the final Sonic Adventure DLC video. The reception from you guys for both the Halloween and Christmas DLC was amazing, and since it's the 20th anniversary of both Sonic Adventure and the Sega Dreamcast in North America this week as I'm making this video, hey, perfect time to cover the rest of them as well. So in addition to the major holiday DLC for this game, there are actually several other smaller downloads that came out too. Now, most of you probably know the drill at this point, but if this is your first video that you're checking out in this mini-series, before we start, I'll give you a bit of context. So the original release of Sonic Adventure for the Sega Dreamcast actually had several bits of downloadable content during its supported lifespan, each for a limited time. Now, I was pretty young at this time, and I had no idea that such online services were even available for consoles. But apparently the Dreamcast was the first console to actually standardize online capabilities like this.
And this baby was the first non-computer that could access the internet.
Like I mentioned, the downloadable content for Sonic Adventure was only available for a limited time, and since they weren't added into future ports and re-releases of the game, unless you still have them saved on your Dreamcast VMU, they are essentially lost forever. Well, at least in their original format anyway. Recently, most of the Sonic Adventure DLC has been recreated very faithfully to its original design and can be added into the PC version of the game with some modding. This allows for the DLC to effectively become preserved, and also allows anyone to see it and experience it almost like it's 1999. So anyway, with that epilogue out of the way, let's have a look at some of the other DLC Sonic Adventure had to offer. Aside from the first Japanese launch event, I'll be going through these in the chronological order in which they were released. So first up is the Yukawa Senmu QUO minigame DLC. For some context with the title there, Hidekazu Yukawa was the senior managing director of Sega during the Dreamcast era, Senmu is the Japanese title of director, and QUO is a Japanese company that provides prepaid cards that can be used in various restaurants, bookstores, hotels, and more in Japan. Think of them kind of like the Japanese equivalent of a prepaid Visa card here in North America. Anyways, this minigame placed a total of 6 Mr. Yukawa cards into the game, 3 in Station Square and 3 in the Mystic Ruins area. Players were then tasked to collect all 6 cards as fast as possible within a 10-minute time limit. This DLC was available from January 22nd to February 22nd, 1999, and each of the top 50 players would receive a special QUO card featuring a picture of Mr. Yukawa, and the card was preloaded with 500 yen, or about $5 US. At first I thought this was kind of narcissistic to make a minigame featuring Sega's director and reward players with also matching prepaid cards, but then I thought, damn, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to a Super Mario Odyssey DLC in which you have to collect pictures of Reggie to win a prepaid Visa with Reggie's face on it. That would be awesome. The next Sonic Adventure DLC was another sponsored contest, this time by the Famitsu magazine. It was dubbed Sonic-kun's Hide and Seek. Yeah, this one was actually released during the previous QUO one on February 12th, 1999. This time, 5 hidden real-life Hedgehog photos were placed around Station Square, and again required the player to find them all within a 10-minute limit. You start out in this red sphere, collect all the pictures, and then end off in this blue sphere inside the train station. This is obviously very similar to the QUO contest, but I couldn't find what the prize was for the winners of this contest, but I assume it was a subscription to the magazine or some sort of monetary prize. Next are the launch events that were made available internationally for each major regional release of both the Dreamcast and Sonic Adventure. The first one was of course in Japan on December 23rd, 1998, then September 9th, 1999 for the North American release, and then finally for the PAL region release on September 23rd, 1999. This DLC celebration was definitely more of just a visual one, as it resulted in several balloons and banners being placed around Station Square to celebrate each release. The posters thank the players reading them for supporting Sonic Team as well as the Dreamcast releases. Welcome to the Dreamcast launch. This is just the beginning, some posters would read. Well, at least they were optimistic. If you think that an AT&T sponsored deal with a Sonic game would be weird, well, you'd be right, but this was actually a reality. Sega games actually took a lot of sponsors now that I think about it. AT&T here, Soap Shoes in Sonic Adventure 2, and Dole in Monkey Ball, just to name a few. Anyways, this AT&T and official Dreamcast magazine DLC collab was exclusively available in the United States, and was split up into 3 different events, all of which were time attack minigames. The first had the player racing through Speed Highway, the second involved hunting for treasure in the Mystic Ruins as Knuckles using AT&T signs as clues, and then finally the last one was a minigame which had the player sand surfing through several AT&T gates as Tails. It was a very diverse set of challenges, I'll give it that. This was another contest event, and it ran from October 29th, 1999 to November 19th, 1999, with the players with the top scores again winning a prize. 15 winners would receive a 1-year subscription to the official Dreamcast magazine, 19 winners would get a Dreamcast game, and then another 5 winners would receive some sort of AT&T premium package for a whole year. I assume this was some sort of phone plan at the time or something, but either way, some pretty generous prizes, especially compared to a $5 prepaid card. The next DLC was, surprise surprise, yet another sponsored contest. This time, Reebok? I mean, at least this one kind of makes sense as a sponsor for a Sonic game. This PAL region exclusive DLC had the player playing through Emerald Coast as Sonic to collect some fresh new Reebok DMX kicks found in containers throughout the level. Additionally, several billboards advertising the new shoes were added throughout both Station Square as well as Emerald Coast, but only when playing as Sonic. Yeah, it seems that advertising in mainstream console games was pretty blatant back then. I guess times were different. As another added effect, after collecting the first pair of shoes, the music also changed to the Versus rival track. This contest also awarded the 50 players with the fastest time. The bottom 40 would receive exclusive European Sonic Speed Challenge Reebok t-shirts. 5th to 10th place would all get a framed certificate and a pair of Reebok DMX shoes. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place contestants all got a framed gold Sonic disc, probably similar to this one, which was awarded to a Sega Europe employee, 200 Great British Pounds worth of Reebok clothing, as well as a pair of the DMX shoes. Finally, the Big Cheese, who got first place with a time of 46.09 seconds, Mr. Neil Ridaway, won a personalized Dreamcast display unit, complete with the console, TV, and controllers, 1,000 Great British Pounds worth of Reebok gear, as well of course a pair of the shoes. Man, I bet that Dreamcast setup looked awesome. It's too bad there aren't any known pictures of it online. The exact date of this event isn't properly logged, but it did happen sometime in 1999. And next, we have a DLC event celebrating Y2K? Now thankfully this DLC wasn't celebrating the once impending technology disaster, but instead the turn of the millennia. This DLC was pretty basic, probably since it didn't have any sponsor money backing it this time. Basically, just several large rings, dubbed the Millennium Rings, were added in a few stages. Interestingly, after collecting one of these Millennium Rings, the music switched to the Japanese version of Palm Tree Panic from Sonic CD for some reason. Hey, at least it's a solid song. Additionally, several posters can be found around the game, and these read, Sonic runs through 2K, Knuckles digs through 2K, Tails smiles through 2K. Really? Couldn't have thought of something better? Like, come on, Tails is known for flying, not smiling. And then the other posters read, a Happy New Year in 2K, wishing you a good new year. And a Happy New Year in 2K, please support Sonic in 2K. Please. This DLC was of course released just before the new year on December 29th, 1999. The final Sonic Adventure DLC, and only one to be released in the year 2000, was one to commemorate the release of Samba de Amigo on the Dreamcast on April 27th. This DLC was known as the Samba GP, and it featured a brand new track at the Twinkle Circuit. There's not much to say about this one, it's pretty much just a new racetrack. But what is cool is that the music here actually changes to an instrumental version of Supersonic Racing from Sonic R. That song always gets me so fired up. If you haven't noticed, this DLC really has nothing to do with Samba de Amigo besides the name. So I guess they were just hoping the title of the DLC would direct players' attention to the new release. I doubt this marketing move was very effective. But yeah, this was the final DLC that made any big changes to the game. There is, however, one more DLC that I didn't cover yet, and that's the New Year's event from 1998. Not too much is known about it currently, since no preserved downloads of it have surfaced yet, but I assume it was pretty similar to the Y2K one. Hopefully one day it surfaces, so it doesn't get lost to time forever. But anyways guys, that will conclude this mini-series covering the Sonic Adventure DLC, and I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's about time we finally move on to a proper Sonic Adventure Lost Bits video soon. What do you think? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to slap a like down below, it really helps me out a lot. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out my other Sonic Adventure DLC videos I made by clicking on the card right here. And if you want to stay even more up to date, be sure to subscribe here and swing by my Twitter and other social media things, all of which will be linked in the description below. If you want to be extra cool and support the channel, check out my merch at TetraBitGaming.com and consider becoming a channel member by clicking the big join button below. But as always guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you in a bit.